The world is awful. The world is mean. The world is bad. The world is evil. The world is a mean and nasty place. The world is getting worse every day. The world is going to Welcome to another episode of Shots of Bliss, as we continue this mini-series on the bliss of questioning, where we are questioning common frameworks of belief that hold people in bondage and limit people from experiencing all the infinite possibilities of being human. In the previous Shots of Bliss, Bliss of Questioning episode, I discussed what it means to be human, and that we always have been perfect, complete, and divine since before the beginning of time. So if you want to hear about that, and you haven't heard that last episode on the Bliss of Questioning, go ahead and click the link up here and catch up on that, and then return to this video. No, for real, go click the link up here, watch that video. I'll wait for you, come back, and then you can complete this video. You need to watch that video first. I hope you enjoyed that last video on the Bliss of Questioning, where we discussed and questioned what it means to be human. Today we are going to continue the discussion and continue questioning frameworks of belief that hold people in bondage and limit us from experiencing all the possibilities of what it means to be human. So, as you heard me say in the beginning, in the intro of this video, the world is a mean and nasty place. The world is terrible. The world is bad. The world is evil. The world is going to the world is getting worse every day. These are common phrases, but where does that come from? Where do these phrases come from? Why do people say these things? The world is going to evil. You know, maybe they watch too much news. Maybe they spend too much time in their social media feeds listening and believing everything they see in the news they believe. So what this does is it creates really a framework of belief that really holds people in bondage and limits them from experiencing all the possibilities of what it truly means, and just all the potential and possibilities that we have as humanity, we have living on this planet, in this universe. There's unlimited, infinite possibilities. So believing that the world is bad and the world is evil is not really beneficial. It doesn't really help you as a human being. So today what we're going to do is we're going to question the validity of these statements that the world is bad. We are going to discuss how to break free from this framework of belief concerning our perspective of the world. Before I get into my feelings, thoughts, and perspectives on the current state of the world, which you can hear about in my previous videos on the Shots of Bliss season 1, I just discussed that we're actually living in heaven right now, and that the world we're living in is perfect, and we are perfect, and we are godlike, just like we are on this planet. But before I get into any more of my feelings on the world, let me just give you some straight facts. Before I get into my thoughts, let me give you some indisputable evidence. Before I share my perspective, let me give you objective data, because my feelings, thoughts, and perspectives are subjective. So here's the facts. The indisputable, objective statistical data concerning the current and future state of the world we live in. Here's a graph of the global life expectancy since the 1700s. As you see, life expectancy increases through the years. Similarly, here's another graph that shows that we are experiencing decreased rape and homicide rates since the 1970s. Now you might say increased life expectancy and decreased rape and death rates is simply due to advances in medical, security, and technological industries. I would agree. So here's another piece of statistical data. Here we see that the amount of people living in extreme poverty has significantly decreased over the past 2 centuries, which means the amount of people that possess the basic necessities to sustain life has significantly increased. Still not convinced that the state of the world is thriving and getting better? Here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average over the past century. This is the economic value of major industries through time. Something that I want to point out for all the data is that there are rise and falls. So you might say that the state of the world is not always getting better, and there are times that get worse due to certain events. But one thing we must understand is that the micro is not the determining factor. Rather, we must learn to see things from a macro perspective, which is the ultimate reality concerning the state of the world and our life as humanity. We must understand that the events that disrupt the normal and expected data are anomalies. Too many people view the world from a micro perspective and allow the anomalies of life to determine and shape their framework of belief. Having a micro perspective as your framework of belief holds you in bondage to a negative worldview that believes the lies that the world is evil and getting worse, and this, my friends, limits you from awakening to the ultimate reality of life. We must break free from the bondage and limitations of this framework and awaken to the ultimate reality that the world is a wonderful place and getting better as the statistical data proves. As we break free from the bondage of holding onto a limited framework of belief, we will realize and awaken to the realities that we are living in heaven, that we are perfect beings, and having been created and birthed from God, we are the gods of this heavenly place called Earth. I hope this Shots of Bliss on questioning being human breaks the bondage of a negative worldview and removes the limitations of a micro perspective as we quit holding on to our framework of belief and awaken to the experience of the perfect heavenly world that we live in today. I hope that this data and that this Shots of Bliss video helps you break free from the bondage and limitations of the framework of belief that the world is a bad place. The world is not nearly as bad as you may think it to be, and that as we've seen through this data, that the world is a much better place, and I would consider it a heavenly place. And life, as I like to put it, is a place of ecstatic bliss. That's the world we live in. As the data shown here, the world is getting better and not worse. The world is getting a much happier, much more livable, much more sustainable, and people are living happier, healthier, longer lives of bliss and joy and happiness. In reality, the world is a happy, blissful, heavenly place, and it's not a bad place. It's not an evil place. People are not evil. People are good and wonderful. You know, there's more good things that happen every day than there are bad things that happen every day, and that's a fact, my friend. But because of life's experiences and because of what we're taught through news and media and whatever, people believe that the world is bad, that the world is evil, that the world is going down the drain, that there's all these bad things because you hear about it in the news all the time. You see these bad things, but the problem is we highlight these things. We put too much energy into these things. We put too much thought, and we put too much talking about these things. Instead, we need to start talking about all the good things that are happening in this world. We need to start having discussions like I'm trying to do here. So go ahead and comment in the discussions below. We could have a discussion about all the awesome things that are happening today. If you had something awesome happen today, go ahead and let me know about it. If you had something, you know, great, something outstanding, something good going on in life, or you hear a story about something good that's going on, let me know. I love to hear these stories. I love to have discussion on the things of bliss, because that's what this life is about, bliss. This life is about happiness. This life is about ecstatic love and joy. So I really hope that this Shots of Bliss really makes you question the framework of belief that the world is a bad place, and really awakens you to the reality that the world is, as I like to call it, a heavenly place. Like, I go out on nature walks all the time. I love going to the beach. I love going up to the mountains. I love going hiking. I love just being out here in nature, because this is my heaven. This is my Garden of Eden. This is where we are living. We are living in heaven right now. And the reason why I feel it's important that you go watch that previous video, which I'll put in the link up here, is because we need to understand that the bliss comes from within. So in that first video on the bliss of questioning, I discussed who you are as a human being, and that you are perfect, complete, and divine just the way you are since before the beginning of time. You were perfect, complete, and divine. That was your destiny. That is who you are as a human being. That is your right as a human being, to be perfect, complete, and divine, and to be a person of ecstatic bliss. That is who you are. That is what it means to be human. That is the core of our humanity. That's why it's important that you go and watch that video first on questioning being human, because the bliss first comes from here and understanding who you are as a human, and that you are perfect, complete, and divine. That is first and foremost. And once we get that revelation, once we get that awakening to the reality of our perfection, of our divinity, of our completeness as a human being, then from there it expands outside of our being, and we begin to realize, whoa, the bliss, the happiness, and the joy and the love are spreading in there. You begin to see that the world around you is a wonderful place, and that's what I begin to see. So in my meditations, first I realized that the bliss comes from within first. So I begin to question who I am and what I am as a human being, and I urge you and suggest and really encourage you to question who you are as a human being, and you'll find that you are a person of ecstatic bliss, and that is who you are as a human being. Then from there, I begin to question, you know, life on this planet. Is it really bad as news in the world and the media makes it seem to be? And I just begin to search for actual data, and I begin to search for actual, proof. Is the world bad or good? I was just questioning. And come to find out, the world actually is a wonderful place. And we have a right to call this place heaven. And we have a right to say this is a happy place. And that this is a Garden of Eden. And that joy and happiness and bliss is exuberating from the trees around you, from the plants, from the earth, from the universe. It's just dancing and pounding with exuberant joy and passion and bliss. And that is the core of our humanity, and that is the core of our planet Earth, and that is the core of all of humanity, and that is the core of the universe. That is what we are. We are just singing a song of joy. We are dancing a dance of bliss. And this, my friends, is what it means to be human. And this is the way and the state that we are in as humanity on this planet called Earth, this heavenly realm called Earth. It is a wonderful place. And I just hope that this encourages everyone to see the world as a place, as a heavenly place of ecstatic bliss. But first they must see it within themselves, and then it'll just begin to manifest, and they'll see, wow, we're living in heaven. So I hope this video breaks the bondage and the limitations of the framework of belief that the world is a bad, rotting place. This is not true, my friends. It really helps you awaken and realize the reality that the world is a wonderful place, as I proved to you in the data, as I didn't prove to you in the data, as the data proved to you and all of us that the world is a happy place, and it's only getting better, my friends. It's only getting better. Whether you believe it or not, it does not matter. So your frameworks of belief don't matter. Give up on all your frameworks of belief, as I've been learning to do, is give up my frameworks of belief. Give up everything I believe, and just realize and awaken to the fact that we are perfect, complete, and divine beings just the way we are. And then from there, you'll see that the world is perfect, complete, and blissful just the way it is. This is the heavenly realm just the way it is. Nothing more, nothing less that we gotta do. But the reason why I express these things is because I can't help myself but express bliss and happiness and joy and heaven right here, right now. And I just hope this encourages you to do the same, to experience heaven and experience ecstatic bliss right here, right now. We're not waiting someday to get to heaven. We're experiencing it right here within us and in the world around us. Leave a comment down below. I'm not just doing these videos to talk and give my opinion. Yes, I'm giving my opinion. I'm giving my thoughts, ideas, and perspective on these things. But I want this to be an open discussion. That's why I love the comments below. I love to see people's comments. So comment below your thoughts. We just have a discussion, a dialogue on questioning who we are as a human being, and questioning who we are as humans all together on this planet Earth. What's the state? What do you think is the state of humanity? Is this place really good or bad? I'm into questioning that. I'm into questioning who we are as humanity. I'm into questioning where we're at on this world. Where do you think the world's at? So what are your thoughts? So leave that in the comments below, and like, subscribe, share this video with someone that may need some encouragement. Finally, as always, stay blissful, my friends.